to worship. We are glad you're here in Unity Hall and in the online pews. Know that your presence here is what makes this community what it is and makes all the difference to this time. This morning, on this last Sunday before Memorial Day weekend, our theme is change and impermanence. And through all of the change and impermanence that is life, we hope and trust that you will find constant warm welcome here in this place, in this community. So welcome to All Souls. I invite you to stand in body and or in spirit and join in our first hymn, which is Let It Be a Dance.
Sunday here at All Souls, it's our custom to greet one another warmly. And first of all, I'd like to ask those of us visiting for the first time, if you're in the online pews, if you could let us know in the chat. And here in Unity Hall, if you're brave and comfortable in doing so, if please raise your hand so that we might extend an especially warm welcome. Welcome, welcome. Good to see you. Here in Unity Hall, let's turn and wave to the folks in the online pews. We're glad you're with us today. And now we'll make a joyful noise as we greet one another.
We acknowledge the Niantic, Mohegan, Massantucket Pequot, and Eastern Pequot people as the traditional caretakers of the land on which we worship. We honor and pay respect to these tribes, their ancestors, and their lineage, which today uphold traditional practices, art, and education. Each week, we light the chalice, a symbol of our Unitarian Universalism. As Catriona lights the chalice, please join me in the saying of these words. O light of life, be kindled again in our hearts as we meet today, this morning, to celebrate the joy of human community, seeking a wholeness that extends beyond ourselves. Each week, we also light a peace candle for a place in our world that is in need of our awareness and care. Today, we're lighting a candle for Ukraine. This week, Ukraine celebrated their 33rd year of independence and marked 2.5 years since the beginning of the war launched against them by Russia. There have been hundreds of thousands of military casualties and tens of thousands of civilian casualties. 2/5 of the population have been displaced, 1/5 internally and 1/5 internationally, which is the largest refugee crisis this century. May there be peace.
Our first reading today is a poem by Wendell Berry called The Summer Ends. The summer ends, and it is time to face another way. Our theme reversed, we harvest the last row to store against the cold. Undo the garden that will be undone. We grieve under the weakened sun to see all earth's green fountains dried, and fallen all the works of light. You do not speak, and I regret this downfall of the good we sought, as though the fault were mine. I bring the plough to turn the shattering leaves and bent stems into the dark, from which they may return. At work, I see you leaving our bright land, the last cut flowers in your hand. Here ends the reading. The summer ends, and it is time to face another way. There is an unmistakable gold tinge to many of the leaves on the maple outside the window. And those wave petunias that look like they'd wave forever look as though they're beginning to wind down. Even the smell of sunscreen has a whiff of nostalgia about it. Nothing lasts forever. Change is the only constant. Impermanence is permanent. There is something unsettling and unsatisfying about constant impermanence. As in so many ways, as in so many things, nature shows us the way. but change is tough. No sooner have we acclimatized to a particular season or range of temperature or direction of the tide than it's time for, as the poet puts it, another way. Artist Andy Goldsworthy takes his inspiration from nature's impermanence. Based in Scotland, he painstakingly creates art from stones, leaves, and sand in that location. And then these beautiful works of art, they change, decay, and disappear, which is exactly what they're supposed to do. Goldsworthy says, it's not about art. It's just about life and the need to understand a lot of things in life do not last. Impermanence is not just a theme of his work, but it's the very soul of it. And Adam's going to show us a few examples of Andy Goldsworthy's work. And these are all natural colors, entirely natural colors. I mean, naturally appearing in that situation. Impermanence isn't just part of life, it's baked into the very foundations. At the subatomic level, our constituent electrons are forever flying at great speed. Change is continuous. Impermanence is a reality. If you're trying to convince yourself that sameness rules and that change isn't natural, not that I've ever tried to do that, you can forget about it right now because there is no way around it. We and everything is in constant flux. How do we handle that? That the world and each of us is impermanent? How do we handle that when change is a pain? Too painful in the extreme. Buddhism says, embrace it all with equanimity. Welcome the in-breath in each moment. Be present to it. Be with that pause at the bottom of the in-breath. Then be aware of the out-breath, that turning to another way as it moves out, and then gently let it go. Hold gently. Don't cling too tightly. Learn to let go. Difficult spiritual practices. Writer and palliative care physician Sunita Puri describes how during her training she was having a really tough time working with seriously ill patients and their families. She became increasingly anxious and despondent because her patients would die within days of her meeting them. But she wanted to have the strength to do her work, and she wanted to get rid of the overwhelming sadness that she was experiencing. She tried all manner of things to little avail. And in the middle of it all, she had a hankering after community. And so she began visiting a local Vietnamese Buddhist temple. One evening, the monks were beginning to make a sand mandala, that symbol for the circle of life. And the monks were gathered around a table. They had metal cups containing sand of every imaginable color. And they used little metal funnels and little scrapers. They intricately piped a gorgeous flower with multicolored petals in great geometrical detail. And the following evening, she went back again, and the monks had expanded that mandala to a mosaic of jewel-colored shapes. And then a third time, the next morning, she returned. The whole place was full of people. The monks were up front in their bright robes chanting, and she craned her neck from the back to see. And yes, a monk with a brush was methodically sweeping over those gorgeous patterns. It brought Puri to tears, not just because this beautiful work of art was being destroyed, but because those who had made it were content just to let it go. This experience has helped Puri endure the inevitability of change and loss that both she and her patients experience. And it has also caused her to ask, what if I had some sort of gratitude for the transience of my life? What if I had some sort of gratitude for the transience of my life? She says the remaining heap of sand was itself a thing of great beauty. The monks scooped teaspoons of sand into baggies, and she keeps her little baggie in her wallet and holds it up to the light when she needs a reminder that change is life's only constant. Lest you think that pondering impermanence might be inclined to make one miserable, here's what the science says. Psychologist Laura Carstensen found that an awareness of impermanence makes one happier. At first, they thought that this was due to age because they found that more elderly people experience joy and contentment than younger people. But on further research, they found that it's not actually age, but it's an awareness of life's fragility and impermanence that can come at any age. Carstensen parses out that it's not simple happiness or joy, but it's poignancy. And she calls poignancy the richest feeling that humans can experience. That feeling that the poet so beautifully expressed. Life is change. Change is life. The summer ends, and it is time to face another way. Amen.
Thank you, Bill. We were given a very engaging theme for this Sunday. And Katrina and I obviously came up with our two reflections independently, but sitting there listening, it was so interesting to see some of the threads weaving in and out. So you'll see those as well. Change. Not something we humans are generally very fond of, and particularly not when it's unexpected, unwelcome, and imposed on us by the outside world. Of course, we do appreciate when things change for the better, whatever that is, for ourselves, our communities, our country, like our economy and now our politics. There are many things we'd like to see changed in our outside world, and particularly those to which we give some time, energy, and resource. And there are those changes that we could, sometimes should, make in our own worlds and in ourselves. We have very little control over the outside world, but a great deal over how we choose to live in that world. So here's a look at the world and our existence in it from a Buddhist perspective. All is dukkha, say the Buddhists. Now, dukkha is a word that's frequently translated as suffering, but really encompasses a much broader range of experiences. In addition to everyday physical, emotional, mental suffering and pain, it encompasses feelings of unease, worry, grasping, longing, regret, embarrassment, disappointment, and many other states that we can get ourselves into, including our various responses to change. From humanity's earliest days, we've observed that everything in the universe is in constant motion, even those electrons. And this naturally led to a Buddhist insight that in permanence, the impermanence of all things. All is impermanence. Everything is intemporary. Nothing less. Life goes on, and people we were with last year have died. Individuals die. Species die and go extinct. And that is true of 99% of all of the species that have ever lived on Earth. An amazing statistic. And as you know, there's a lot of endangered species on Earth right now. Where do you think the human species might be in that evolution of life on Earth? Furthermore, granted a few billion years away, our sun is going to evolve into a red giant and engulf the whole solar system. And our universe, which has been expanding since the Big Bang, who knows? All is impermanence. Nothing lasts. The Buddhist path to nirvana, enlightenment, is to understand and accept impermanence to the point we no longer struggle against it. An important practice in Buddhist meditation is to focus on this to ultimately free ourselves from being unduly attached to having things staying the same. Here in the West, we typically search for what we see as permanent, even while we live with endless change and uncertainty. We hold on to things that we count on: our communities, our loved ones, our memories, our hopes, and our search for truth and meaning in a world where nothing lasts. Yet, it is this very impermanence that gives life its freshness, surprise, new possibilities, and yes, some new challenges. The one thing we can control is our attitude, our perspective, which can make all the difference in our lives in this ever-changing world. An example: people can often be described, or even describe themselves, as an optimist or pessimist. A pessimist or cynic frequently claims the intellectual high ground as the well-informed pragmatist. But is cynicism more reasonable than hope? Much in life is mysterious, changing, unknown. How many answers can we truly claim we have? Cynicism is not creative or generative, but a stance of hopefulness is aspirational and can bring some visions of what could be. So, how hopeful are we? Another, when we view our world and whether we perceive abundance or scarcity, has a huge impact on how we respond to life. Deep issue for each of us is how we perceive what we have. Do we appreciate the abundance we have, or is there never enough? Do we want what we have, or are we always trying to have what we want? So the question is, how grateful are we? We realize that in many ways we're alone in a huge, mysterious universe. And despite that aloneness, our deepest selves are not individual, we're relational. We do not live alone. Those closest to us and the rest of humanity is central to meaning and purpose in our lives. We are not only formed by our interaction with others, but in many ways we are that interaction, that personal network of relations. So, who are we and whose are we? Through it all, we can connect with each other and thrive together in community with purpose and joy in a world where nothing lasts. It's often said our lives and our memories are made up of moments. We are alive and renewed in every moment with our memories of the past and our hopes for the future. So we need to live into each of those moments in our dynamic, ever-changing, unpredictable, surprising, and yes, beautiful world. Some thoughts on seasons. We should love every season of the earth and of our lives because each season has its own treasures. Here in New England, we have our distinct 4 seasons: spring, summer, autumn, winter. And we have our life's seasons: childhood, youth, maturity, old age. Poets have a lot to say about the seasons. They map our seasons onto the earth's, and they also capture our emotions and behavior as they vary with the earth's seasons. So here is one poem of each. Seasons by Mohammed Muzamal. Spring, the season of rebirth and renewal as the world awakes from its winter funeral. Flowers bloom and the trees come alive as nature's beauty, once again, we revive. Summer, the season of warmth and light as the sun shines down with all its might. Beaches, barbecues, and lazy days as we revel in the sun's fiery blaze. Fall, the season of change. As the leaves turn and the colors glisten, the air turns crisp and the nights grow long. As we prepare for winter's chill and its song. Winter, the season of cold and snow, as the world becomes a white, icy glow. Frost in the windows and snow on the ground as we huddle up and winter's joys are found. Each season with its own unique grace, a cycle of life that we all embrace. The beauty of nature forever will last as we witness the seasons of the present and past. Second poem is The Seasons of Life by Joseph Anderson. How like the seasons is our life. We face sunshine, storms, and strife as these seasons come, so they must go. We are enjoined within that flow. In spring, we start our journey new when flowers bloom and skies are blue. The trees are budding, birds will sing with youth in bloom. It's always spring. To summer soon, we are mature, face love and kids and home and career. It's harvest time, success we seek. Those sounds of summer can leave us weak. Then autumn calls, to have it say, the foliage falls and the hair turns gray. The chill descends and soon the frost. We think perhaps on things we've lost. Old winter grips with snow and cold. We watch our destined fate unfold as now we near our time to go and seeks life final afterglow. Amen. I invite you into a moment of silence. Please join me in saying the words to prepare for our offering. We give to the work of all souls. Our work weaves the fabric of love called community. To this end, we dedicate ourselves to this, our offering.
for all that you've given and all that you've sacrificed. Thank you. Each week when we gather, one of the ways that we tend to the fabric of community is to bear witness to one another's lives, the joys and the sorrows both. And these can be shared in 3 ways. If you're in the online pews, if you could write in the chat what you would like to have shared here in Unity Hall. And those of you in Unity Hall, you can also write in the book that sits in the lobby. And everyone can email belovedcommunity@allsouls.net. Those of you in Unity Hall, you're invited to come forward as you're so moved and to light a candle of intention. And those of you at the front of the line, if you would move up to the far end of the row so that the line flows more easily, that would be great. The circle is open. Your joy, your sorrow is welcome here.
From the Grey Book, Kelly O'Connor's 26th birthday. Wishing Kelly a happy birthday. Michael Ritz writes, Lisa is home recovering from her second shingles shot. We also ask for your support controlling our anxiety over the November election, which is consuming us. Lisa, thinking of you and Michael and all who are in an anxious state of mind at the moment. Prayers are requested for a friend, Beth, and her husband, Jim. They are dealing with dementia and Parkinson's. Love and prayers for Beth and Jim. And from the online pews, from Carol Cassidy, John Greiner needs healing thought to recover from back surgery. Healing thought coming your way, John. Wishing you a good recovery. Let us hold everything that has been shared as we enter into a communion of prayer and meditation, followed by silence. Source of life, source of love, we hold close in our hearts the suffering of body, mind, and spirit present here and across the world. May our love and care rest with those who need it today. We remember all of us in transitions, which is all of us. Be with those who are especially in transition. Be with students and educators. Be with all who are experiencing beginnings and endings and new beginnings. We're grateful for this beloved community, for the love, peace, and comfort given and received. Through the week to come, may we remember what we have done in this hour. May our hearts find contentment and our souls find stillness. Amen. I invite you to stand in body and our spirit and join in our closing hymn, which is For the Earth Forever Turning. invite you to raise your hands, reaching out to the wider world. And then the online pews, if you like to put your hand on your heart and a hand reaching out to the community beyond the screen. Through all the seasons, life seasons and meteorological seasons, may we be able to hold the present moment and be with it fully, and then to let it go. If you'd like to hold with your hands, hold something gently, hold it gently, and then let go, let it go. Blessed be. Amen. I invite you to please be seated for the postlude. Thank you, Bill and Charlie. And Bill and Charlie are going to remain playing for us for coffee hour. So those of you here in Unity Hall are fortunate. If you are new today or newish and would like to learn more about All Souls and UUism, head over to the welcome table where a friendly soul, Lynn Tavermina, will greet you over here. The Elder Journey date has been moved to this coming Thursday, August 29th at noon here at All Souls. For those of you that are 65 years or older, please join us. Bring your own lunch, dessert, and beverages will be provided. Also, this coming Thursday, choir. 6:30. If you would like to join the choir, a wonderfully enthusiastic group of people as you hear, if you would like to join the choir, please come along this coming Thursday at 6:30. Next Sunday, September 1st, Reverend Carolyn will be preaching. And that's it for today. Thank you for being here. Have a good week.